had the idea, if I can get a bunch of designers in a room, I'm going to take advantage of that as much as possible. So a little bit about me, like she said, I have a diverse background. It's kind of weird, but I've always been an educator, and to me, that's like that's my jam. And I think design should be in every school and taught at every level. Thank you. Because I think it's transformational in the growth mindset and getting students to approach problems differently. So, because of that, I know we're being recorded. This is the quote that I came across that kind of inspired this session for me. That's not the right quote. Sorry, the right one.
All the way.
There you go.
Got it. I know what I'm doing. Let's go. And to me, that hit pretty hard. That was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's what I've been trying to do this whole time. I've been trying to show students that I care. I'm trying to show students that when they care, it's the most important part of learning, right? Students, especially junior high students, tend to be apathetic. You have to fight that at all times. So what does that have to do with all this? We're gonna do an activity to start with, so I can kind of show you what that has to do with design thinking. So stoke activities are what we call activities that kind of help you stoke the fire within you. So if you already have this idea, you already have this mindset, you already have this knowledge, and I'm just trying to pull it out of you, so I'm gonna stoke the fire, right? This one's called Share a Story. It's very similar to the one you did this morning, but a little different. We're gonna use the following prompts as a guide to share a story as a team. And each member is going to get one sentence in the story, so a whole sentence. You'll have to get in at least groups of 4, at least 4. So maybe move around a little bit, find somebody, find a group.
Absolutely.
And instead of just the yes and, I want you to try some of these. So with your group, go ahead and create a story with some of these. One sentence at a time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Go.
What's the part?
Clockwise? Counterclockwise? Clockwise?
Every day.
What's the first one? What's the part time here?
Because
was,
of that, I broke my wrist and now have a metal plate with 10 screws.
Once upon a time there was a.
Oh, do we have to go in that order?
Yeah.
No,
You ended up eating an entire
No,
burger.
we don't-
necessary.
We don't have to?
And because of that.
Not only are you starting a sentence, but you're starting the story with because. It's so great.
That's what that was the problem.
It's great.
Alright, so
I'm a good rule follower, I'm also a good rule breaker.
Love it. It's inspiring and also jarring. Because of that. Which version?
Yeah, because of that, I broke my wrist and now have a metal plate with 10 screws.
Until finally, I went to the doctor
Every
and
day after that, the party
figured
went
out
on
that
and on.
not only did I have
The end.
I broke my knee.
Ooh, okay. Alright.
And every day after that, I've had to oil my
There
joints
was
like Tin Man.
So every day I have this entire process that I go through, this 25 steps about how I oil my joints. And it starts with step 1, get out the oil.
Because of that, she became super famous.
Icicle for
Then, for a racist tweet.
Until finally I decided that maybe my system was too much, so then I had to give it up and start playing pickleball.
Once upon a time, I was a group recyclist, and now I'm an intense pickleball player.
Is that all of it, or are we missing one?
All right, and that's your story. Maybe the last sentence. Go. Last sentence.
We are.
Oh, y'all, yeah.
Are you tying us up? Yeah, sentence.
Oh, what was it? Oh, I thought we did all of
I
them.
like
Oh,
that.
so no, we were just supposed to keep going? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it. Everybody come back in, people from the breakout room have to come back to. That's that K-12 teacher face right there, you know? Be quiet. Okay, so every time I do this activity or any Stoke activity, I always ask my students why the Stoke. So why do you think I started with this one today? Just say it out loud.
Why what? Can you?
Why this Stoke activity today?
Because we're talking about relational.
Of course, yes. What
This
else?
is late in the afternoon, you gotta wake us up.
Yes. Boom. What else?
It forces us to think really quickly. Some of the things are like nonsensical but still funny.
Oh, it's creative maybe?
Yeah. They were definitely fun in our group.
Yeah, and we talked about that last time too. I wanted you to collaborate. I want you to be creative. I want to bring joy. Yeah. And I want to push you out of your comfort zone just a little bit. Push that comfort zone a little bit wider. So you're having to meet with your table, you have to talk with your table. You're going to, stuff's in the way. You're going to push your confidence and build your creative confidence. And that's what's going to happen when you do these Stoke activities. So the title for the talk today is Beyond Content, Designing Relational Experiences for Transformational Learning. Whew. AKA Designing Vibes, man. Good. So we had a Stoke activity. We're going to talk about Stokes. We're going to talk about vibes. We're going to talk about education. We're talking about relationality and learning. And then we're going to do some relational design / design thinking / human-centered design - all those things. So Stokes. I get a lot of my Stokes from this website here called the Stoke Deck. This is a great resource. Taylor Cohn and Tanya created this Stoke Deck. And it's about 27, I believe, activities that help nurture mindsets. If you're trying to get to it, it's stokedeck.io, and that's the QR code so that you can go to that website. But basically, when you go to the website, you can either do a random Stoke or you can suggest a Stoke based on the mindset you're trying to create. And for instance, this one's called Convergence. It's my favorite one. It's where two people go to the middle of a circle and try to say the same word at the exact same time. It's beautiful. And every time I play it, it gets people happy to do it together. There's no winner, right? But whenever it's two people go in the middle and say the same thing at the same time, everyone's like, yes! All right, I can't believe it! I love it. It's great. It's great. So, all that has to do with creating vibes. Let's define vibes. I can't define vibes, sorry. But it's hard to explain, but it is easier to experience. So I'm gonna put up a slide that has the vibe for today's workshop. I wanna see if you're experiencing that correctly. Yes. What's the vibe you're getting here? Tell me. Groove. Silly.
Irreverent.
Irreverent. It's a little serious. Look at my face.
Unexpected.
Unexpected. That's good as well. I like those.
Humbled.
Humbled.
Oh, humbled. Oh, okay. Didn't expect that. A little Kendrick Lamar, maybe. What vibe did today's Stoke activity set? So we talked about how why we did the Stoke activity. What kind of vibe do you think it set for the rest of the workshop?
More upbeat and dynamic.
Upbeat, dynamic, very good. What else? Participatory, yeah, I love that. One more? Ella, I tell you what, she's gonna get in trouble in this class. So my workshop vibe, and the vibe that I was trying to get you to experience, was one where you engage aggressively, where you're curious, right? You're listening to others. You're asking questions. I want you to ask questions. That's why we're doing that now. And I want you to use growth mindset. So those are the things I'm trying to get to you through the vibe of a Stoke activity. So it's all about kind of creating the environment for relational design. It's creating the environment for optimal learning. Because workshops are design educational experience. And like once you figure that part out, you realize that anytime you facilitate anything, anytime you give a speech, anytime you do a TED Talk or anything like that, it's an educational experience. You're giving knowledge to other people. So what can we learn from the world of education? My background is in education. I started out doing this. I was a band director. It's pretty dorky, but we're in state over there, so it's pretty cool. And then I did this. So I went to get my master's degree in design and innovation. I came back and started teaching makerspace and design thinking for pre-K through 8th grade. And we did dangerous things, and it was a lot of fun. And then I was like, I need to keep teaching design thinking, so I started doing it at the collegiate level and the professional levels. This is actually at USAA. Some of these are Russian exchange students. These are my students in my 301D class, building experiential prototypes. It's been a lot of fun. I love my job. But Benjamin Bloom, kind of random, but as an educator, this is pretty important. If you're not familiar with education, Benjamin Bloom's kind of a big name because of Bloom's taxonomy. This is so old, 1956, but so relevant. What you're doing when you're learning is first you have to remember, then you understand. Then you can apply that understanding, you can analyze, evaluate, and create from there. Those top 3, that's what I call elevated learning. That's what you're going for. Just remembering or understanding is great if you're taking a test. But if I want to teach students how to do design well, if I want to teach students how to apply the design thinking methods, they have to get up to here. And I think leaving your class or workshop participants able to continue the work is really your goal as an educator. It's not just to have them get an A on the test. And Alice and David Cobb is another educational theorist, and their theory is called experiential learning. And this is what got me really excited when I was in school. Experiential learning is about using the experience of learning, the actual, not just what's written down, not just the content, but what happens in the classroom from day one, from the very beginning, the Stoke exercise that we did. That experience helps to build into what I'm trying to teach you. Learning is a process of building on prior knowledge. This is like a synopsis of their theory. Learning requires adapting, thinking, and feeling. And learning results from synergy between persons. That's the relational design part, again, that keeps popping up. This idea that you learn from each other as much as you learn from me, and that's my goal. So a closer look at that experiential design framework, Stoke, reflect, theory, activity. That's the kind of cycle I like to use when I'm teaching. So Stoke is what we started out with. We reflected on that Stoke exercise. I'm teaching you some kind of boring theory, and then we're gonna get to an activity. Hooray! Because of that, in order to do this well, the Stokes have to be based on my mindsets and skill sets. So CID, we don't really have a framework like that most people have for design thinking. We just kind of talk about these 8 things as being the most important aspect. This is what we're trying to learn here. Oh, sorry. CID is the Center for Integrated Design.
Oh.
And I am the director for the Center for Integrated Design.
You had the initials at the beginning, but it wasn't spelled out.
I'll fix that next time. So
It was still cool though.
these are, just take a look. I'm not gonna read all of these, but these are some of the mindsets and skill sets that students should have when they take one of our classes. Which really means this: be flexible, ask questions, wild ideas, defer judgment, work as a team, look for details, use your learning, and make to act and learn. And these are the vibes that have to be set in order to do that. I need a curious vibe, I need a compassionate vibe, I need a creative vibe, accepting vibe, a high energy vibe, a metacognitive vibe, thinking about thinking, a focused vibe, or a camaraderie vibe so we can collaborate. So today I set up that camaraderie by having you guys work together. I set up the creative so that you can create a story together because I want you to be creative right now for my own activity. So and this is the relationship I'm trying to take advantage of right now, the student-to-student relationship, the relationship we all have together. And that's why I said I get a room full of designers, I'm gonna take advantage of it. That's what I'm doing today. I could talk about this stuff all day, but we need to get to activities. So we're gonna do a Stoke activity. We're gonna create some vibes. I love this guy. I don't know. Stock photos are my favorite, y'all. I seriously go through stock photos and just laugh. Our goal for today, we're going to design a Stoke activity that sets a particular vibe. So I want to use this tool. Again, I'm taking advantage of y'all today. Which vibe are we going to create? Dun, dun, dun. Drama. If everyone could join Mentimeter. You can use menti.com and use the code 17705269, or you can just use this QR code. We're going to collaborate live.
Are you sharing that screen?
I believe so. With the Zoom people. Y'all good? Everybody there? Somewhat. I got some thumbs up already.
Well, it just like cuts this screen.
What's that say?
It doesn't, it's just like a cool way to collaborate. It doesn't.
Oh, I think that's how it starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna start now. Boom.
Okay.
What kind of vibe do you want to set? I believe you get 3 responses. What's the vibe you want to set for your Stoke activity? Lots of different answers. Oof, this word cloud's having trouble.
Get if AI knew like what synonyms were, like cookie and silly, right? Should be this.
Fun is winning. Fun is really winning. I think we got it. We're gonna go with fun. Fun is the vibe we're trying to set. Why would we want people to have fun? I don't know. Tell me. Why would you want people to have fun in your class or workshop or facilitation?
Because it breaks a little bit of the pace with theory or something that could be more
Exactly.
You can also stay engaged too.
Yes, and I have trouble with that sometimes. It's my classroom, especially with undergrads. They're like, they can float. And so sometimes we have to do something that's fun. Oops, sorry, not that one yet. Let's go back to. So let's talk about inspiration. We're going to, on your paper, on the back side of it, I want you to answer these 3 questions. When was the last time you felt fun in person? What were the 3 things you were feeling when you felt that fun, when you had that fun vibe in a room maybe? And 5 things you were doing when something fun was going on. So fun is the vibe, not just what you were doing. Time is gonna be a problem.
Dimitri's, oh, okay, it went away.
Yeah, I was about to move it. All right. It's okay if you didn't completely finish, because the next step is going to be to work with other people. So I like to use this framework when I'm doing synthesis on this kind of work. The AIOU-Y framework: actions, environment, interactions, observations, users are people that were involved, and then emotions, because I needed to have emotions in there. So as you level your group, I want you to all share your actions that was happening when you had the fun vibe, then share your environments, then share your interactions, and so on. Got it? Got it? Awesome. Share with your group and go.
It was when you last time. So,
Things you were
Like you
doing.
could stick the Y in the middle of the word.
Yeah.
Emotion.
no, when you had the
Yeah, for the vibe, yeah.
Yield
So-
emotion.
Yield emotion.
Or my husband is hilarious. So I was
Yeah,
and we were driving in the car
Ew, together?
and we were talking about something and he had this completely deadpan joke that caught me off guard, but when I realized what he had said, it was hilarious, and so I felt amused, happy,
And they all get
entertained,
boiled?
connected, and
The winners
things I
and
was
the
doing,
losers?
I
That's-
laughed at it, I smiled,
Some Hunger
and
Games.
So literally, that was, I was
you know,
like,
it
I loved it.
good vibes.
Good vibe.
Okay. Connection was great.
Yeah.
The actions. Alright, so I'm thinking back to fun since, but this was the thing that came to mind. I'm playing tennis with my partner on the weekends. I've played in like 2 years, but some of these it was great. So we were doing lots of running,
To then get
swinging,
boiled.
I know, I
and
know.
sharing
I'm
each
so
other's
glad you
love,
saved it from falling off the table, Raja.
but not keeping score. It was outside. It was with like my favorite person. Yeah, I felt like both challenged, but also.
I also, like, I couldn't think of what the last time was, so instead I just
And
went with the
then
most popular.
one of our very young neighbors came up to me and gave us both stickers from their Taekwondo studio. And she was like, you can put them on. She like watched us put them on. And then she was just like, keep going, okay? And ran away. That was her parting words, and that's been my mantra all week. Keep going, okay? Like, we kind of asked a really tiny person.
I did a lot of and walking.
Okay, so for me, last weekend, yeah, we did a spontaneous trip to the farmer's market in Dallas to meet my sister and
FD to the future of design and higher ed
me
meeting
and
at
my husband
Claremont
from both
Colleges
of
as
my
well.
girls, which
Wow.
yeah, kind of.
The
Yes,
fam, the
everybody.
fam,
Yeah,
the full fam.
The whole thing. And
How old are your girls?
one is 20 and almost 20 and one's 17. So
Hey, man,
getting them
sure.
to actually hang out with their
They
parents.
could have chosen
Absolutely. So, so we met my sister and her husband and my nephew, and it was just fun because the weather was nice. And what was I doing? I was feeling grateful, curious because I hadn't been to that one, so I was just looking at all the stuff. I'm just happy, that everybody was there, and it was nice because it wasn't stressful. It was not the whole day. It was just like what was I doing? Browsing around, just looking at all the stuff, doing the shopping.
Observations of the experience, I guess.
Or what did I see?
I don't know. What are observations? Observations of the experience.
Okay, so I don't know. I guess it was just like spontaneous. Yeah, it was just spontaneous. It wasn't planned. It was like I didn't have a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't looking for anything. So I did not, but I did. There was some nice tomatoes and peppers. I did put tomatoes and peppers.
You
Yes.
don't get that stuff in Minnesota too far.
Yes. They were good too. Nothing like that fresh. Yes. Okay, what about yours?
Fun bike ride along the Pacific Coast with my friend James. 2 weeks in Santa Monica, cat sitting for my daughter while she and her family were elsewhere.
Whoa, that's
The last time was 2 days
2
ago.
blocks, 5 blocks from the beach. And extra rooms, I encourage my friend James to come to Minnesota and join me for an epic bike ride, 27 miles long.
And a cat.
And I just had to feed the cat for 10 minutes.
That's great.
So let's see, I felt refreshed, and I enjoyed companionship, I felt energized through this.
Sitting on a coffee couch and it was
My activities, cycling, looking at scenery, commenting on things,
So are we
talking,
supposed to do the
and
AEI?
building up thirst for the eventual future.
No, this is
So they
not.
categorize your talk.
Nice.
Oh.
I don't know how well those fit into the 5 columns here, but.
Happy
Yeah,
Mother's
it's like
Joy,
talking, yeah,
joy,
talking.
joy,
Yeah, drawing, walking.
I like this, I like this.
Yeah,
Stoking the vibe. I wanna try these at home.
Kids?
Home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we're not doing game night, we're doing design.
Yeah.
I'm just high,
I'm
but
gonna practice what I learned and you
It's
guys.
kind of good.
So, let's see. See if I remember.
So yeah, keep going. As a group, you're gonna be figuring out what you have in common with your AEI-OUI. So what are some things in common with the actions? What's something in common with the environment, interactions?
Family, friends.
Common actions when we're all doing
Environment being like
things.
So ours are both sort
like in one
of
way or
physical,
another, like yeah,
we're also like exploring.
fun lecture hall, you know, how exciting.
You said you were in your car driving somewhere.
Yeah, but we were driving because we worked together on houses, so we were going to a work site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supporting each other, yeah. You're rooting at, it's the rooting, yeah.
I just like, so. Alright, I want you to create one how might we as a team now. This is the framework I like to use for how might we's, by the way. A strong verb, for, who's it for, then a conjunction and an opportunity for change.
Give us something.
Example of a how might.
Well, it
How
was
about
that
we encourage
specific.
college students to see ramen noodles as an experience rather than a struggle food? That's when we.
Have that one loaded out.
We do a ramen activity, okay?
No, I already have it.
Like, where did that
You
go?
wanna know?
Backstory, please. Okay. I like Spark, like if fun is what we're going for, Spark seems like
Are we using any of this?
yeah, I think we're trying to be informed
why don't
about
we do
this
it
for that.
Wait, can you say
It was like, how might we change college students'
Ignite,
viewpoints of
the
ramen
rooting,
noodles
like the
because
rooting cheering
ramen
seems to be like
is
a
not
really
always a struggle food.
Trying to anchor on that, like how might we ignite rooting for each other, or like supportive cheering for awkward people on the first date.
I like it.
Alright. Based off that, we'll skip this. I want you to ideate just like it's exactly the same thing as Eugene's activity. But you're gonna ideate an activity like a Stoke activity like we just did. What would be something fun to do that would set the vibe that we were talking about earlier? So an activity that would set up something fun. You can like even use Eugene's, I mean, that's the same thing, but no, don't do that, don't do that.
If they're good, let's just put them in the second volume of the Joy Cards. Well, Dimitri and I will cross-share info as needed.
Yes, we will. Alright,
Okay,
That being said, you want time for this? Sorry. Woo! That's the end.